Hi, this is Eric Sailors from Expressive Solutions. In this video, I will provide an introduction to LinguaPix. LinguaPix is an engaging iPad app for individuals to practice expressive language skills with real photos in 3 activities: flashcards, matching, and pick or spin. Let's begin with the flashcards. If you have not previously added users in LinguaPix, you will be prompted to add a user. I'll add my name, starting with my first name, then my last name. Adding an image is optional, so I won't do that for now. Now I see a section of configurations, including customizing decks, skills for tasks like expand it and describe it, as well as a matching level. These configurations have been set by default, but they can be changed for the user. I'm not going to change any at this moment, so I'll move on. I'm going to scroll down to see all of the available decks in the full version of LinguaPix. There are 15 decks, with an average of 70 cards per deck. The decks are in categories including animals, clothing, health and safety, school, and more. Please note that the Health and Safety deck is selected by default. We could select multiple decks, but I'm just going to use the Health and Safety deck for now. So I'll tap Save. Now I need to select the user and tap the Start button.
What is she doing?
When the activity launches, you hear an auditory cue for the first task called Say It. In the top toolbar on the left, you will see the users in the activity. Although only one user was selected for this flashcard activity, up to 8 users can be selected for any activity in LinguaPix. The one user here can practice expressive language via 4 tasks in the flashcard activity: say it, repeat it, expand it, and describe it. The first task, Say It, is selected by default, and it is for naming nouns and verbs. Since a verb is currently pictured on this card, the user is cued to say what the individual in the card is doing. If the user accurately names the picture, the check mark can be tapped for correct, or the X can be tapped for incorrect. If there is a tallying mistake, just tap the scoring numbers down in the bottom toolbar to fix it. If the user requires prompting, such as a verbal prompt, the P can be tapped, followed by the check mark or X. The scores for prompting and non-prompting are collected across cards and displayed in the bottom toolbar. Let's switch to the second task, Repeat It.
Blowing her nose.
Repeat It is for modeling the noun or verb pictured in the photo. The text in the Repeat It task will also provide an answer to the question in the Say It task. Finally, the Repeat It task allows you to collect scores for repeating nouns and verbs. Now let's switch to the third task, Expand It.
Make a sentence about it.
Expand It is for formulating sentences about the pictured nouns and verbs. The default, as indicated by the auditory cue, is for making a sentence about the picture. If the user requires support to formulate a sentence, you can tap the underline.
Make a sentence with the sentence starter.
And now you see a sentence starter. You can tap again for a simple sentence.
She was blowing her nose.
And another time,
After she blew her nose, she threw away the tissue.
for a compound or complex sentence. Additionally, the various sentence levels are accessible by tapping the list button in the bottom left corner of the flashcard. In the Expand It task, the default scoring is for all grammar. If a user makes any type of grammatical error in this task, it is tallied via the current scoring method. However, more specific skills can be selected for Expand It. Just tap on the user currently selected to see the skills under the Notes and Prompt types. There are several skills here to choose for targeting in the Expand It task. I'll deselect all grammar and choose some conjunctions for scoring. How about because and if? Now I can go back and select other skills for scoring. Let's choose some basic concepts. Now I can tap outside of the popover, and I see colored tabs at the bottom with the different skills that I just selected. Currently, I have because selected, and let's say I want a user to make a sentence about this picture with the word because in it. I would just have to tap the sentence on the card.
Make a sentence about it.
I could also select another tab, like if, and now prompt the user to make a sentence with the word if in it. Then, scores can be collected, indicating whether the sentence was grammatically correct or not with the word if in it. Now I'll switch to the fourth task, Describe It.
Who is doing it?
Describe It is for describing the pictured nouns and verbs. The questions for the Describe It task are organized in a hierarchy with the following order: who, what, where, when, why, how. Here we have a who question, and we can progress through the hierarchy by tapping the text.
What things do you see? Where is she? When does she do it?
We can also tap the List button to choose among the set of questions designated for this card.
How is she doing it?
Here, the How question was selected, and we can see that data is being collected now for How. I just tapped the checkmark button to indicate a correct answer that could have been elicited for the How question. Now, let's tap on the user that is selected for this activity. We can add notes and any prompt types. We can also select some more skills to collect scores for. Here, I'll select attributes, nouns, verbs, as well as the WH questions. The WH questions are still selected, but I can select any of the other tabs and collect scores for whatever is necessary. Now let's take a look at how we can go through the cards in this flashcard activity. We can tap on the arrow to the right of the card.
Who is doing it?
We can tap the arrow again to go to the following card.
Who uses it?
At any time, we can select a different task.
What is it?
And now we can advance by swiping from right to left.
What is she doing? What is it?
Then to go to a previous card, we can either swipe
What
left
is
to
she
right
doing?
or tap on the corresponding arrow button. Let's take a look at this card. We'll select the Expand It task.
Make a sentence about it.
And let's say that we want to prompt a user to make a sentence about the picture with the word if in it. We can have the user record themselves by pressing the record button and then pressing the play button to hear it back. If he takes his medicine, he will feel better. If he takes his medicine, he will feel better. Now we can collect scores to determine whether that sentence was correct or not. But let's go on and take a look at some visual and audio options that are in the activity. By default, these options are turned on. You can choose individual options to turn off. Now let's tap the Done button to finish the activity. Here we see a summary screen that's summarizing the scores for this user that was selected. we see that the scores are organized by the tasks as well as the skills and whether the scores were prompted or not. We can select any prompts that were used in the activity, and we can also add some notes. Now let's tap on the Scores button to see where scores will go after they've been saved automatically by the app. Here we can select the user that we want to view scores for. Now we can tap on Notes to see the prompt types that were selected for this particular session, as well as any notes that were added. Let's go back and take a look at some sharing options. Tap on the Share button, and then you can choose to share scores for an individual user, and those scores can be shared to the clipboard or to email. To conclude this video, I'll tap the Home button to return to the home screen. The home screen is where you access the LinguaPix activities as well as the Create module for creating custom content for the 3 activities. A future video will demonstrate how to use the Create module. Thanks for watching. Bye!